Doom 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 doom. Doom 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 doom. Under pressure. Doom 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 doom. Doom doom. Under pressure. Yes, yes, yes. It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. Under pressure. Why do I do this? Why do I do this to myself? You know what I mean? Got a bit of a schedule going on. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to make a video. I'm going to have to make a video about the new development, the latest development. We now know who Joseph Parker's new trainer is, or will be, or is. And if you haven't heard the word, then we'll be doing the great reveal here, today, now, imminently. First things first, let me drop the link in the chat. Second things second, today. Let me do the sound check. Imminently. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so that's in order. And now let's get the screen in order. Share the right thing. Do the right thing. There's this thing. Where's that? Oh, why is it all the way down there? What's that all about? Okay. You see the thumbnail and you see the headline. And boom, boom, boom. In comes the John Daly. I'll talk to John in a second, imminently. But you see the headline. Where's the headline? Joseph Parker's new trainer revealed. And I thought we were going to do that, but then, damn it, I thought I'd do a quick video. And then I was talking to John. I said, well, damn it, why don't we just go live? Damn it. And then as I set that up, I also realized there's a breaking story. And you know how we do over here at Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio Boxing Talk with Rafi. We like to break the stories, and the breaking story is that Wilder Ruiz appears to be set, or is being set, for later 2021, later in the year. Okay, so I realize now it's a double header. Well, it was always a double header, but now it's a triple header. Okay, so you're now looking in the eye of the triple-headed beast. And it's the afternoon over here in the UK, so we're going to bang this one out. It's a triple header, ladies and gentlemen. As you come in, kindly smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. Be sure to hit the bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. And, of course, share my shizzle and fertilize the earth. And then comes a man like John D. Lee. John D. Lee, you see a smorgasbord before you, a smorgasbord of topics before you.
It's a veritable feast, Rafi.
It's a damn feast, mate. It's a damn feast, and it's appropriate because it's late lunchtime over here in the UK. Let me centralize my mic. Let's get this thing right. Okay, John, where are we going to start? Well, how are you anyway? First things first, how is the John Daly over there in Harborne, Birmingham?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Raf.
Excellente. And in comes the Shropshire slasher.
Good morning, my lord.
How are you, Mr. Shropshire Slasher? How are you today? I'm marvelous, I must say. Got a busy schedule. I just got a new personal training client, and she's signed up for 3 times per week. And the first day is today. And the first day is today. So
jolly good, my lord. I'm just about to have some Earl Grey here, and I just saw you and the great D Leon.
What was
I
that?
just was wondering. I saw you and the great D Leon, and I said, well, and Ruiz and Wilder. I said, is this breaking news? What's this?
Yeah, it is. I was just gonna do a video on Parker, Joseph Parker, and his new
Yeah.
trainer, and we're gonna get into that first. But then it turned into a double header with a triple header because I was always gonna say another little thing about Megan. Then it turned into a triple header when I realized the breaking news is that Deontay Wilder, Andy Ruiz is being set for the latter part of 2021. So it appears Deontay Wilder has not retired. As I flirted with the idea that he retired, but it looks like he ain't. It ain't so. Looks like the man ain't done. So we're going to be talking about that secondly. But first things first, good evening, hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. You are in tune to Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, joined by John D. Lee and the Iron Kong. And okay, so let's not tarry. Where's the story? Where is the story? Okay, it's there. Let's not tarry. Let's get straight into it. It's a busy afternoon, but gotta keep the people fed. Gotta keep the people fed with these news as it breaks in the boxing world and beyond. You know how the Rafi does it. Not limited by anything. Only limited by one's imagination. But okay, let's do this. Joseph Parker reportedly set to make Tyson Fury's assistant Andy Lee his new trainer after recommendation from Fury. We'll start preparing for Derek Chisora clash on May the 1st. Dang, is that the headline picture again? Okay, so Joseph Parker is reportedly set to link up with Tyson Fury's assistant coach Andy Lee and make him his new trainer. Okay, so New Zealand's former heavyweight champion defeated his countryman Far on February the 27th, but once again underwhelmed in his performance. His performance was underwhelming. Okay, Tyson Fury with the Rolex watch and the high waist. Okay, so, right, it can be argued that Parker has not showed his best form since the historic triumph over Andreas the Ponce Ruiz Jr. captured the WBO belt back in 2016. He's now being lined up for a crunch clash against Derek Chisora in the UK on May the 1st. Parker has mutually agreed to part ways with his long-term mentor, Kevin Barry, before this bout. Okay, so before the bout, they knew that it would be their last tango in, not last tango in Paris, last tango in Auckland. Okay, and it is reported that he has chosen to make Andy Lee his new trainer after a recommendation from the Gypsy King himself. Does this man look drunk to you? It's
not the most convincing picture, Raf.
OMG. I think we have to bear in mind this guy's like deep into his 70s, coming up to his 80s, I think, unless I'm mistaken. So he's in pretty damn good shape for a 70 odd year old. Pretty damn good shape. Could probably still go clubbing. All right, I don't know about that. Okay, depends. Okay, so Parker posted a picture of himself on a plane on social media on Tuesday. It's claimed that he's currently flying to the UK to join up with Fury and Lee in camp. Okay, so this was a big thing that I've been wondering about. This is a big thing for me. Was Joseph Parker simply saying that coming up with the travel thing, traveling to get over to Barry's place? Was he coming up with that? Was that some kind of red herring? Was that just a convenient excuse? And was that just a convenient excuse that he was using? And really, with his next trainer, he'd be traveling anyway. and this seems to confirm my suspicions. All of a sudden, Joseph Parker is on a plane traveling to the UK. So does that imply that if the primary thing is the trainer and that he'll travel to train wherever he needs to travel, which is kind of contradicting his previous statement. But anyway, the heavyweight has previously worked together at the top-ranked gym in Las Vegas, but under different coaches. Fury's full-time coach, Sugar Hill Stewart, lives in America and so is currently not working firsthand with the OMG. Hold on a second. Another bit of breaking news. Fury's full-time trainer, Sugar Hill, is in America and is not working with Fury right about now. Okay. Not necessarily catastrophic because obviously Tyson's got a lot of boxing knowledge in his camp. So that is not necessarily a problem, but it is interesting. I was under the misapprehension that Fury was working, Sugar Hill was there. And there is the lovely head garment of Mr. Kevin Barry. I think head garment is the polite way to say it. Look at this fellow.
Head furniture.
Say that again.
Head furniture, head garment.
Head furniture, head garment, Billy Joe.
Weave.
Yeah. Billy Joe in the background there. Never noticed that. I didn't know he was over there. Oh no, it's a different fight. I'm thinking about a different fight. Well, yeah, I didn't know it was over there anyway. Well, which fight was this? Oh yeah, that would have been against Huey Fury, no doubt. That's why you got the Furies there. I think is that John? Is that Big John there? Is that John's big head?
Well, I can't tell you. He's not got his finger in anybody's eye.
It's hard to tell when he's not gouging. And is there anything I need to go into more in that? I don't think so. Why do I keep on getting these adverts for funerals? What's this all about, John? What's the meaning of this? Talking about were you born in 1979? Anyway,
well,
let's think positively. Let's not think about funerals right now.
Let's be very positive, Ralph. Let's be positive.
Let's be
I know
positive.
you weren't born in 1940 anyway, so that's the first positive statement.
Okay, John Daly with the age jokes already. It's a bit early in the day for that. Come on, John.
I have to get them in. I can't. A lot of the time, I'm the oldest person on the panel.
Okay, John.
Frequently.
Let's get into it, John. Let's get into this damn shiznix. Joseph Parker appears to have. Where is Andy Lee? There he is. There's Andy Lee. Okay, Joseph Parker matching up or joining up with Andy Lee as his new trainer. Apparently just for at least one fight. Sorry, before you go in, let me just give a quick salute to the chat. We got the Scott 70 up in here. We got the Aaron Daly. Why do you have to go live when I'm in work?
That name is pronounced Daly.
Daly, Aaron Daly.
As in Arthur.
Arthur Daly.
Yes.
Arthur. Oh, you're saying Aaron Daly's got some shady
No,
shady
I like Wingy's boxing. I'm a fan of Wingy's boxing. I'm just giving you an example of the pronunciation.
The difference in pronunciation.
Or isn't Daley Thompson's name spelled that way as well?
Daly could be. Daley Thompson, there's a name from the past. Now, why do you have to go live when I'm in work calls? Work calls. I need to concentrate. Good man, just catch snippets and you can listen to the whole damn thing later on in the evening. But dang, it's a double header today because we got a trainer in. We got a world-renowned trainer in at around 8:15 p.m. tonight live. So tune in for that if you can. Catch it on the replay if you can't. Wizard Sleeves up in the building. Wilder versus Ruiz. Don't hold your breath. Oh, we're talking about that later. Scott 70 down there in the southern hemisphere up in the building. Suitable time for Scotty. Fury on the dodge again. Dame. Okay, so let's get into it, John. Give me your thoughts, views, and observations about this link-up. Apparently, it's for at least one fight. So I think that it's a trial thing. We'll see.
Well, when he's fighting Derek, he's going to have the unusual situation where Joseph can actually box him on the outside because he's got a reach advantage. Andy Lee was taught by Manny Stewart.
Yeah.
He was a long middleweight and was good at boxing on the outside. Against any other top name opponent in the heavyweight division, Joseph Parker's going to have a reach disadvantage.
Yeah.
So the only fight I can see that style benefiting him, unless Andy Lee knows a lot about different styles and we just haven't seen it, is the Derek Chisora fight. Because Derek's got a very small reach for a heavyweight. He's only got like 74-inch reach.
Yeah. T-Rex arms.
Well, they're not the longest. They're not the longest at all. So moving forward in the long term, I haven't had a chance to put this out there in the airways, but I think Eddie Reynoso would actually be the best coach for
Parker.
Yeah, just because he's got to learn to fight on the inside if he's actually going to win a world title again, as far as I can see.
Yeah.
And I mean, Canelo is pretty good on the inside.
He is. Yeah, definitely. Eddie Reynoso. So that's John Dealey's favorite. Let's have a listen to what Iron Kong's observations. Iron Kong, Andy Lee for Joseph Parker.
I think anything's better at this point than Kevin Barry. Joseph Parker needs something different in his career. I mean, it couldn't have been inspiring watching Kevin Barry's here all these years. And I just think Joseph Parker needs something else, anything else at the moment. The question is if it's too late. But I think Joseph Parker is a much more pliable individual than, say, somebody like Deontay Wilder.
Right.
So, he might be open to new things. It's not like Joseph Parker does not have ability. He has ability.
Yeah.
So it's not like the guy doesn't really have a lot to build on. Joseph Parker can do things. The question about Joseph Parker is if he actually wants to box. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's good for Parker. A change is good. He needed it. We'll see where it goes, but at least he don't have to watch that strange looking comb over that Kevin Barry has. Man. That shit was terrible.
That isn't hair on top of his head. That is some form of garment or
garment.
Let's just be polite and call it apparel. It's head apparel.
Yes, hair apparel. It comes from the men's accessory department.
Oh.
Men's accessory department of what was that? Are you being served? What was that?
That's the one.
What was that store called? What was that store called?
I can't remember the name of the store, but that was the program.
That was the program. That was the program back in the day on a Sunday night. It's kind of depressing when you're a kid and that came on because you knew it was school on Monday. The weekend was definitely over when Are You Being Served came.
Isn't that from the free channel era, Rafi?
That was the free channel era, mate. 3 channels, BBC One, BBC Two, and ITV, independent television. That was our 3 channels on TV. Seems like a lifetime ago.
Rafi.
Yo.
Sorry to cut you off. Are you also going to be talking about Boatsi taking on Virgil Hunter?
That wasn't on the list, but let's talk about that now. Go.
Well, I was wondering who was Boatsi's trainer before? Why did he find in what was he missing something? I'm wondering.
Boatsi to me, I'll be honest. Boatsi to me is somebody I avoided watching. Let's have a quick look. We got the Scott 70. We got the Wizard Sleeves. We got the James Jameson joining us up in the building. Let's face it, nobody bald wants to have their scalp fingered. Are you being served? Well, there's a head massage, Thai head massage. But anyway, Boatsi was someone I avoided watching simply because his style was he was unappealing to me. There was a lack of fluidity. There was a tightness. Yeah, fluidity is the word. Fluidity is the word. All of my favorite boxers were very fluid. And you know, my two favorite boxers, my two top boxers were Muhammad Ali, the epitome of fluidity. And you'll say, Raf, you're setting the bar too high, you're setting the bar too high. Well, okay. Well, let's come down to a different type of fluidity then. My second favorite boxer, Marvin Hagler. That was a different kind of fluidity. He wasn't jumping all around the ring. It was an economy of movement. But within that economy of movement, there was a fluidity. There was a looseness. Buatsi, to me, when I see him throw punches and I see him fight, he looks tight. He looks so tight, so tense. And I understand that. That's for a lot of boxers, but I don't like to see that. It displeases me. I like fluidity. Now, let's have a look at someone making a transition from tightness to fluidity. And that guy is Lawrence Akoli. Another guy I avoided watching for that same reason. Tight, kind of limited in what he's going to do, kind of predictable, and lacking in fluidity. Something which just displeases the Rafi so much. But look at Akoli now. He made the switch. He's gone over to McGuigan. And within one fight, he's just loosened up, man. He's just loosened up to the point where I can say I think Akoli is going to come off my list of fighters to avoid. And now he's on the list of fighters to watch. And so that was my problem with Buatsi. Can Virgil Hill loosen him up, get him more fluid? I think so. So, yeah, I think it's a good move. I look forward to see the development and more fluidity. John D. Lee.
I think I agree with some of what you said and I disagree with some of it.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with what you've got to say about Lawrence. In his last fight, he showed me what I'd been begging to see from Lawrence, and that was a jab.
Yeah.
He's a 6'5" cruiserweight.
6'5"?
Yeah, Lawrence is tall.
6'5"?
Yes.
Dang,
and he wasn't using the stick at all.
Wow.
And so, he's a very long cruiserweight. So I'd waited to see a jab from him, and Shane's got him utilising one. Virgil Hunter has only had success with Andre Ward. And I've yet to see him do well with any other boxer. Every time somebody else goes to Virgil, they don't seem to do much better than they did before. So
that's concerning.
It is concerning. And I'm not sure I'd rather see Buatsi go to Shane McGuigan, to be honest.
Go to Shane McGuigan.
Yeah, I'd prefer to see that.
Is there a conflict of interest with him?
Not really. They don't fight the same weight class.
Different weight classes. I don't see that conflict.
Not really. No, I don't. I mean, lots of trainers have more than one fighter at a time. Mm-hmm. Lawrence is further along in his career than Buatsi is.
It would help. It would help to have them both in there. Still,
Like they were teammates on GB. I don't really see what the issue is.
Yeah. There you go.
That's why I asked because, sorry, John.
Go.
I asked because it's the same thing John Dealey is saying, that I've never really seen Virgil Hunter have no huge successful stable. He's only really known for Andre Ward, and that's about it. But I could be wrong. I'm not no boxing historian, and I'm not this guy who knows all this deep boxing stuff. I don't know anybody else.
You are right, though, Iron. He is exclusively known for success with Andre Ward, and he hasn't had any marked success with anybody else. The most notable famous name that I can think of that went to him was Amir Khan, and that didn't end well. I didn't really see any change in Amir either. I'm less convinced that Andre Ward's success was due to Virgil Hunter. I'm more convinced it was to do with Andre Ward himself, to be honest with you.
That's an interesting point. Is is Virgil Hunter seen on the screen? Is he going to? Is he?
Is he your cousin, Raf?
Is it? Sorry.
Is he your cousin?
Oh,
there is a marked similarity.
OMG, John Daly being very cheeky this afternoon, folks. I think he's been on the ginseng.
No ginseng here, Rafi. He's a tall gentleman.
Yeah.
There are some other notable similarities.
There
You're
may
both
be.
adverse to head furniture.
I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Thinking about changing the look up a little bit.
Hey, there's some amazing weaves I've seen on online these days.
Hey, I'm thinking about changing up the look. So long as it don't come off in the wind, the Rafi is good. But the Rafi wants some variety, man. The Rafi's want some variety, so you might change up the look a little bit. Okay, so Marvin Hagler, one of the very best, 100%. Scott, another bald guy. Akoli is bald. Akoli, is he? Akoli?
Maybe Scott's bald. I don't know.
Maybe. Akoli might end up training octopi. What does that mean?
Oh, yeah. Well done. Yeah, I think he's getting confused. We definitely don't want Coley to go to Virgil.
No.
Lawrence is adept enough at holding on to people.
Yeah. Having listened to the arguments of John Daly and Iron Kong, Rafi's had a change of heart. Yeah, there's trainers in the UK. John Daly hit the nail on the head when he recommended Shane McGuigan. There are trainers in the UK who could do as good a job, if not better job, than Virgil Hunter. I was thinking of, when you said Virgil Hunter, my mind flashed to, what the hell is that? The name of the guy with the ponytail? Jackson?
Yeah, John David Jackson.
John David Jackson. Yeah. So my mind, I pictured him. So I was thinking about John David Jackson rather than Virgil Hunter. That's why I went to the picture, because when you guys were talking about SOG, I thought, hold on, I'm thinking about the wrong guy. I was thinking about the other guy, Jackson guy. So if it's Hunter we're talking about, which it is, no. There's other trainers who right here in the UK, who I feel would do a equally good a job, if not better. And Shane McGuigan is definitely right up there on the list. If he was going to go to anybody, I'd have said in America, I'd have said it'd have been better off going with Mark Breland. The
only question mark about Breland is his ability to train somebody.
That's a big question mark there, because he's a trainer.
Yeah. Well, he's a very good boxer, but the only fighter that I'm aware of that he's trained is one of the not so good boxers of recent times.
Yeah. I hear that complaint. However, for me, he knows about the jab. He knows a little bit about movement. I'm saying that you'd have better chance with fluidity, theoretically, with Breland than with Hunter. But there is no substantiating evidence, supporting evidence for that. So that's pure hypothesis. That's pure speculation. Anybody else want to say anything on this topic before we move on? Thanks to the Iron Kong for raising it, because I was unaware. Iron Kong, anything you wanna put a bow on this?
No, it just seems like a lot of UK boxers have now started looking outside more again. Yeah, I think last night we mentioned Liam Smith possibly making a move from Joe Gallagher. Joe Gallagher was on. He was saying, of course, in his typical joke style, I don't know anything about it. They haven't told me anything. You know what I'm saying? But the man is with Manny Robles right now. He's left. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I mean, we've seen Liam Smith go over. We've now seen Tyson Fury go over. Quite a few people going over, looking for something new. The question I need to ask is that, are UK trainers, do they need to start once again looking back over to America for something new? Because the boxers seem to be doing that.
Well, I would say we've seen Parker, the counter argument to that, we've seen Parker using a UK trainer. We've seen a Coley switch to a UK trainer. And we've seen Boazzi now go over to a trainer who, you know, really who's only been good with one guy. We've seen Tyson Fury go back to the crunk. So I don't know if that's really a new move. It's new in terms of the calendar, when it happened on the calendar, but really he's just going back to something that he knew. And so I say no. I say we got some bright trainers. We got some bright trainers over here in the UK, and I think one of the problems, because I'm in a chat group with a lot of UK trainers, and the problem, I think one of the problems is that a lot of these boxers, they come up under a certain trainer, could be an amateur trainer, but they come up under a certain trainer. Then when they get the professional contract,
They stick with them.
No, they don't stick with them. They get recommended by the promoter. Oh yeah, you go with this guy over here, and he's an established trainer, been doing it for how many years, and so that blocks out new trainers, or not even new trainers. We got veteran trainers who keep on getting left by people or boxers when they sign pro under the.
But the question is someone like Anthony Joshua an anomaly where he worked with Rob McCracken on the GB squad and stuck with him till now?
Bit of an anomaly.
Yeah, and there's a backstory to that as well. There's a backstory to it as well.
Yeah, there's a backstory to that, but that's pretty unusual.
I've got a question for you, Rafi.
Yeah.
Because particularly if you've actually got the inside track from the horse's mouth, as it were.
Okay.
My issue with trainers in the UK seems their training style and methodology seems to be too orientated towards the amateur game.
Right.
And there's a complete dearth of training and teaching people how to fight on the inside. And we're seeing a lot of British fighters getting beaten up on the inside at the moment.
So what's the question?
Why do you? Because my initial reaction to what Iron Kong said was, UK fighters need to leave the UK or bring people in from outside the UK because our system seems to be working well at the amateur level,
right?
But not translating that well to the pro game, because in the amateur style, body shots aren't scored. Most amateurs are taught to move and jab and score points, which is fine because that's the amateur game.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more to the professional game than that style. And there's too many professionals in the UK trying to use that style and losing because they can't fight on the inside.
So that's a good question, and I don't have the answer to that question. So what I'll do is I'll put it to that group that I'm in.
Because to his credit, when Anthony Joshua has wanted to change things up, and this is to Rob McCracken's credit, he has been open to bringing new people into the camp. There doesn't seem to be any problem with egos. Like AJ's brought in 2 other trainers, Joby and Angel, and they've added wrinkles to his game.
Yes,
but
wrinkles.
Neither of those are British-based trainers.
Wrinkles which he knew he needed to have.
I mean,
it's a good question. It's a good question, and I would like to hear the answer myself. So I shall get a question going, get a topic going in the group, and
but I wouldn't necessarily be looking to America. I'd be looking to Mexico for inside fighting.
Within 48 hours, where are we now? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Hopefully, within 48 hours, I'll have an comprehensive answer from a number of trainers on that very, very good question. And with that, we're going to move off now. Moving on. Let's have a look. Let's stop sharing that picture. And let me see what else is on the where we need to go next. Okay, so we've covered the Joseph Parker thing. Do we do the royal question now? See, say that to last. Say the royal question to last. Where is the thumbnail? Where is the thumbnail? Why am I not sharing? Why am I not sharing the thumbnail? Where is it? And why can't I see it? Because I'm very proud of the thumbnail. It amuses me. We got boxing and the Royals. And I think to the left, did we have Joseph Parker on there? I can't remember. Okay, so let's move on now to the title piece. Anybody just joining us, we've already talked about Joseph Parker. You can catch that on the replay. But now we're looking at this piece and 100%, let me. Okay, and that is a donation, super chat donation from the original super chat donation champion, Scott 70 down there in the Southern Hemisphere. Much appreciation. Much appreciation. Okay, and as we move on, what's the screen I'm looking for? What's the screen I'm looking for? Let's have a little looky. Hopefully I've got it up. I'm pretty sure I damn well do, although I can't see it right now. Is this it? Is that the one? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so let's go into this. Let's go into this one. Okay, so road to redemption. Wilder and Ruiz Jr. lined up to fight after losses to Fury and Joshua. How do I activate this? Boom. So let's get into this. Hopefully you can see what I can see. Yes, you can. Okay, so Deontay Wilder is reportedly being lined up to fight Andy Ruiz Jr. this year. The two heavyweight boxers are coming back from devastating world title defeats and are both managed by American Al Heyman. Okay, so what's going on here? What does that say? What does that say? Okay. Where is it? Where is it? Is this it? Is this the story? Well, we got highlights there. Yeah, Ruiz shocked the world by beating Joshua 2019, but 6 months of partying saw him come in unfit and overweight in the rematch, and he was easily outpointed by the Brit. Wilder drew with Tyson Fury in their first meeting in December 2018. In their rematch, however, it proved to be one of the most memorable nights in the sport, when Fury pummeled the previously undefeated American from pillar to post into a 7th round stoppage. Okay, so now going to WBN. Wilder and the slimmed down Ruiz Jr. are on the road to redemption and a blockbuster fight in late 2020. First up for Ruiz Jr., however, looks to be a scrap against Chris Arreola in April. Arreola 40, was knocked out by ex-WBC King in 2016. The American has only fought 3 times since that defeat, with his current record standing at 38-6-1 with 2 no contests. Okay, there's Ruiz slimmed down. What is that? What is that? Oh,
I would like to point out that a well-known slimming technique when taking a selfie is to take the photo from above.
I think most people know that and chuckle. And
it's a well-known technique.
Well-known technique. A lot of unscrupulous ladies have used that technique and tricked people.
You sound a bit bitter about that, Rafa.
I'm very bitter about that. Do you know how much it costs me in petrol?
Hey, big girls need attention too, Raf.
Hey, big girls need loving too. Big girls need loving too. And that's why we have the John Dealys of this world.
we like to operate an inclusive open door policy. No discrimination.
OMG, I think something tells me John Dealey likes him a bit bigger than me. Something tells me John Dealey likes him a bit more sturdy than the Rafi.
No, I like girls that can run for a bus, Raft.
Yeah, they got to be able to run for a bus. Hell yeah.
Open door policy. You know, I know a lot of gentlemen who are against the skinny ladies as well.
Yeah, against the skinny ladies. Anyway, that's a whole different topic. So who'd win? Ruiz versus Wilder? Well, I'm saying it now. Boom, boom, boom. 62%. Oh my gosh, you just changed on me. 62% said they would believe that Ruiz would win Wilder. 32% said Wilder. I'm not going to carry on with this thing because I think we all get the gist. And I'm going to go with the Iron Kong first.
Who would win in the fight? Right now?
Yeah. Who wins?
Well, I mean, if they fought right now, I'd have to pick Ruiz because I mean, Ruiz has the best win in the division thus far, beating Anthony Joshua, unified champion, right? And then I guess Joshua came back and beat him, right?
Yeah.
So out of all these guys who are not Anthony Joshua, he has the best win. So he's shown he can do it if he is disciplined. Deontay Wilder has shown that his complete kryptonite, which is not new news, is inside fighting. And until he shows me he's found a different way to set up the big right hand.
I'm just gonna get a drink. Carry on, guys.
Yeah. Unless he shows me in some fight that he found some other way, some other delivery system to set up the big right hand, I'll have to pick Ruiz because Ruiz is with a camp who is very serious about their boxing. Ruiz already had a good boxing base. So really, I mean, Deontay Wilder, in my opinion, should be the underdog in this. I mean, he has to show me something different. I hope he gets a tune-up before this fight. Some sort of tune-up.
The one thing that wasn't mentioned, I don't think it was mentioned in this article, but it looks like it's taken from a World Boxing News article, pretty much saying the same thing, is that Wilder's been lined up to fight Robert Helenius.
Well, remember...
So this pay-per-view for the end of the year, with them both having a comeback fight each to build it up.
Remember he did that interview in the car where he called out all Usyk, and then he stuck in Robert Helenius' name. And
Did you see Eddie Hearn getting interviewed by that? Yeah.
Hearn said, look for Robert Helenius. The weird name that's in there, that weird name, that's the name you look for. Robert Helenius. He's going to fight Robert Helenius.
Eddie admitted he does it himself.
Well, Eddie said, yeah, I do it too. So, a weird name.
Yeah,
Robert
yeah.
Right.
Well, the other thing about the Helenius fight is Helenius went quite a way up. I don't know how far up the IBF rankings when he beat
Kawanaki.
Yeah, Kawanaki.
Yeah,
so
he got
that isn't a bad move for Wilder, in that should take him right up the IBF rankings. Which, if I was in their shoes, it would be the IBF that I'd want to go down, because I don't see Eddie Hearn or Team Fury particularly wanting to give either of these guys a shot at the title based on past behaviours. So the IBF route is the best way to go, because they are the strictest with it.
I'm sure I've heard somebody say that Wilder was offered a ranking in the IBF and he said no. But I remember doing a stream, and I just like you, I said Wilder should, in fact, Wilder fighting Charles Martin is a much more, beneficial fight for him, or fighting Usyk for the WBC.
Helenius isn't a bad opponent, and it's not a straightforward fight for Wilder, to be honest.
What are we talking about now? The IBF?
So the thing that was missing from this article, Rafi, and I think it's taken from a WBN article, is that while Andrew Ruiz is being lined up to fight Areola, they're lining Wilder up to fight Helenius.
Yeah.
So that's how the IBF came into it, because when he beat Kawanaki, he went right up the IBF rankings.
Yeah.
I also think Charles Martin's quite highly ranked on the IBF.
He is. I think he's number 2.
Yeah. So,
or 3.
I can see any of those opponents being good for Wilder, because it's going to be hard for him possibly to force a fight, particularly if Fury comes out.
Force the fight with who?
A world title shot. So
Okay.
if Fury comes out the winner of the two fights and has all the belts, the best route to have a mandatory enforced is the IBF.
Yeah.
Now, I think Joshua would fight him because he's got on record several times saying that he'd still fight him despite the loss.
Still fight Wilder.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Fury could win the two fights.
Yeah.
But if he's the IBF, he'll either be promoted to the champion if Fury refuses to fight him, or he'll fight a lesser opponent to take the belt.
Wilder turned down the WBC
He definitely turned down the Bridgerweight, but I was going to ask Hong Kong if Wilder was WBC champion when he turned down the IBF rankings, or if it's
why did the fight with him and Charles Martin not happen?
He said
we don't know anything about it really.
Allegedly, he said it was the reports say that because Wilder wasn't satisfied with the money.
Which one to start off with?
Which
Charles Martin because the Charles Martin
which time was he, because he was, there was talk about the in-house fight happening, and then they decided to send Charles Martin over for the payday. But there's also been rumors about it happening recently that haven't seen.
Talking about recently where Wilder said it's alleged.
I wanted to clarify that from Hong Kong.
Oh yeah,
no, I'm talking about now. Since he lost the belt, he had an opportunity to fight for the IBF ranking with Charles Martin.
Yeah.
You understand? Charles Martin was behind Kubrat Pulev, right? I think number 2 in the IBF. He had an opportunity to fight Charles Martin for the IBF number 2, which would have made that winner the mandatory in the IBF.
He turned it down. He turned it down because of money.
No.
That's just the rumor, because I don't know, and we don't know. The speculation out there is that Wilder wanted 10 million for that fight, and they said no.
Yeah,
that's the speculation. But I wouldn't rule out seeing that fight still.
No. I'm not ruling.
It wouldn't surprise me if Wilder's just not ready to fight.
I'm not ruling out it happening. What I'm saying is the word is that Wilder turned it down.
He
wanted more money. So, but that's not to say it can't come around still.
At the moment, Wilder's not slated to do anything. There's no evidence of him training or doing anything.
If it is true that they're setting up Ruiz Wilder for later on in 2021, then, and Wilder hasn't fought for 12 months already, then he's going to have a fight before Ruiz. There's no way Wilder's going to go in there, 2 years, the better part of 2 years.
I think it'll be Hellenius or Martin. I think it looks like it's going to be Hellenius at this point.
Looking like Ruiz, it's looking like Hellenius. That's the word. Martin seems to be out. I don't know why Martin's out, but Martin didn't particularly want to fight Wilder. Said they're friends, so he wasn't up for it.
It might be the southpaw issue.
Martin wasn't up for it because they're buddies, and maybe he felt he'd have got knocked out. And Wilder wasn't up for it allegedly because of Mo Knight. So that's why I think it will most likely be Hellenius or Kawanaki. More likely Hellenius because he just beat Kawanaki. But I knew they were interested in Kawanaki for Wilder. But now since Hellenius beat him, I say put your money on Wilder versus Hellenius in somewhere around the middle of the year, June.
I think people are sleeping on Hellenius if they make that fight and just assume that Wilder's going to win it.
Yeah, you can't assume that from Wilder.
Because Hellenius hits like a truck.
Not only that, but especially now, Wilder is vulnerable.
No, I think Wilder cleans out Hellenius. Hellenius was taking a lot of punishment against Karnak.
He was, but he's also shown some good displays. There's a few things that I question about Wilder. And if these two fights happen, we'll find out. I've questioned Wilder's chin for a very, very long time. And Hellenius is a big puncher. He's got a track record of being a big puncher. He nearly took Dillian White out in their first round when they fought.
Yep.
He is a big puncher. And when he was first coming out, he was being groomed as the next Vlad.
Yeah.
He has good fundamental boxing skills.
Mm.
He's had problems, and he does have issues.
Yeah.
But he has good fundamentals, and he has power.
He has good fundamentals. He has good power. The question then is he at Wilder's level? Because we do mock Wilder quite a bit.
Well, but Rafi, I think I have the lowest opinion of Wilder's level on this panel, to be honest.
Perhaps.
So I don't know if I can be.
Is he at Wilder's level? We've seen.
I'm not sold on Wilder's power either.
We've seen Helenius splayed out by Washington. I'm pretty sure it was Washington who splayed him out.
He was.
Yeah, it was Washington who splayed him out. We've seen Helenius splay out Kawanaki. What I'm thinking is, what I'm looking at is that I think it's a close fight. I think it's closer than people would expect. But I think Deontay Wilder, I think those 5 years that Deontay Wilder spent as the WBC champion fighting poor candidates for his title. I think even though that is true, that he's fighting poor candidates, I think it does give a certain amount of confidence, maybe even arrogance. So if he goes into the fight thinking that he's better than Helenius, thinking that he's got a better KO record than Helenius, which he does have, I think that's the edge. I think Wilder has the mental edge. I think Wilder has knocked out almost everybody, or dropped almost everybody he fought. And I think that gives him an edge. That gives him an edge. Although in terms of actual talent, hold on a second. Yeah, I think he's more talented. I think he's more talented than Helenius. I'm not going to use the boxing maths, but we saw how Washington splayed out Helenius, and I don't think, even though Washington outboxed Wilder for portions of their fight,
there's no way Helenius has a particularly good chin.
Yeah.
So Washington's not a big puncher.
No.
The other common opponent that they have is Johan Juhaupas, who also knocked out Helenius.
Okay, so hold on a second. I'm just saying, for me, case closed. I've heard enough evidence. I've got my own evidence. I've been provided with more supporting evidence. Robert Helenius is not on Deontay Wilder's level. When have you ever heard the Rafi say that someone is not on Deontay Wilder's level? But Robert Helenius is not on Deontay Wilder's level. That's coming from the Rafi. Let's hear something from the Iron Kong, and for back to John Daly.
No, that's accurate. Helenius fights a very straight up, very I guess people call it statuesque. I just call it straight up. I do that, he's there to be hit.
Yeah.
Wilder makes a living off of fighting people that's like Robert Helenius, right? Yeah. Not really fleet of foot, just kind of stands there. When Robert Helenius jabs, he jabs with his chin in the air, right? And it's like Dominic Brazil. When Wilder was gonna fight Brazil, people were telling me, "Oh, Brazil might do it." I'm like, "Y'all, Deontay was going to absolutely destroy Dominic Brazil." That is, in fact, the fighter that Wilder loves to fight. Guys who just stand there in front of him, don't do too much movement, don't do too much of anything, just come straight forward or whatever. But coming straight forward on Wilder is you gotta close the distance. You just gotta know how to close the distance. But Brazil and Helenius don't have the foot movement to close the distance effectively and in a safe manner when it comes to Wilder. He's there to be hit. I think Wilder will destroy Robert Helenius. What?
It's become very clear in my mind. It's become very clear in my mind in these last few moments that Breezel. Look at Breezel walk into that punch. Poor fundamentals, poor rudimentaries. You know what? I think you could take a bunch. You could go into a bunch of gyms in the UK right now and find heavyweight boxers with better fundamentals than your Breezels and your Heleniuses. Better fundamentals. These kids will probably never turn pro. They'll go in the boxing gym. They'll box for self-defense lessons. to know how to defend themselves, and they'll go about their merry way, never stepping even in the amateur ring, much less the professional ring, but with far better fundamentals than a Breezel or a Hellenius, particularly a Breezel. But Hellenius has certain qualities. Just walk in like that, no head movement, no body movement. There are kids right now, heavyweight kids right now, in gyms all over the world, all over the UK, with better fundamentals than Dominic Breezel, and better head movement, better body movement, feints, shimmies. You know, when I look at these heavyweights right now, some of these heavyweights right now, the amount of things they don't do is quite astonishing. When do you see a shimmy? When do you see a shoulder feint? Yeah, just feinting in the shoulder. When do you see lateral movement? When do you see a double jab whilst moving laterally? When was the last time you see a double jab whilst moving laterally?
I can think of 2 people that do that.
From a lot of these cats. From a lot of these.
Okay.
From a lot of these cats. It's not the norm. It's not the norm anymore. Those are basic fundamentals.
I don't understand what some of these people are taught. However, comparing
fundamentals is crazy.
Comparing Brazil and Hellenius, I think, is unfair to Hellenius.
Yeah, it is.
To be really honest with you,
somewhat.
Dominic Brazil has 0 boxing fundamentals, and is one of the most stationary targets in the history of the heavyweight division.
Terrible.
So there is that chance, every chance, that Wilder does knock out Hellenius, because Hellenius hasn't got the best chin anyway.
You knock him out cold.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't rule that out at all. I'm not suggesting that.
I'm telling people where to put their money.
No, I understand, Rafi. But on the flip side, if Hellenius lands on Wilder, I think he has enough power to completely knock out Wilder and clean his clock as well. That's why I think it.
Discombobulate.
That's why I think it's an interesting fight. Because what everybody seems to forget about Wilder, and this has always been my biggest criticism, is his chin's really poor. And a boxer that can establish lead hand dominance over Wilder has a better chance of landing first than Wilder does, because he normally needs to touch you with that left before he can land his right. Very rare that he just throws one big right haymaker right. I think the only time, did he do that against Brazil? Did he actually touch him with the left first? I think the knockout punch was just a straight right, because he actually took a run up, didn't he?
I think
it was like a fastball in action.
I'm pretty sure he threw a lazy left.
That's his modus operandi. So
and the boom.
If you go back and you watch the second Ortiz fight, the reason Ortiz was having so much success is because he was parrying Wilder's left hand. So Wilder wouldn't throw the right. As soon as Ortiz started to try and employ head movement rather than the parry to the jab, he got touched and he got knocked out. So
as soon as what?
Right, if you go back and watch the fight.
No, I know that. As soon as what?
As soon as Ortiz started to employ head movement and not parry the jab, Wilder started to touch him with the jab, and then he landed the right. So if you occupy Wilder's lead hand, by parrying it, and you have a heavy right hand of your own, that is actually an effective tactic against Deontay Wilder. So although I agree with what you're saying about him being a straight up, slow footed fighter with no head movement, all he's got to do is employ the parry and land his own right hand. And that gives him, that's how he would win if he was to win.
And his parry?
Yeah, he can parry.
Okay, you've seen him parry.
Yeah, he can parry. That's why he got compared to Vlad to start off with.
I got you.
So he can fence with the jab hand.
Okay. So playing hands as well. Playing hands. You don't really see much of that in the heavyweight division now, Mao. Playing with the hands. Tapping the glove of your opponent before he's actually thrown it, and as he's throwing it, just at the beginning of it, misdirection, trapping the hand, moving the hand play. What happened?
A good example of how to do it against
play. Where is
Against Wilder's.
the game? Where's that gone in the game? Where's the hand play gone in the game?
Well, a few people do it. AJ is pretty good at catching and shooting.
Catch and shoot.
And Luis Ortiz, for all the rounds he was having success against Wilder, that's exactly what he was doing. He was parrying the jab.
Catch hands, parrying the jab, playing with the hands, I call it. We need more of that in the game. These are just some things that we need to see employed more in the heavyweight game.
And Vlad was very good at it.
Sorry?
Vlad was very good at it.
Vlad was very good at it. Messing around with hands, messing around.
Well, Vlad actually did fencing in his youth, didn't he?
I always want.
And for those who don't know, boxing was developed from fencing.
That's very interesting because I always had an affinity with fencing. I wanted to, fence, but I don't know if they do it anywhere around here. I don't know.
They do, and they used to do it at the BAI, Rafi.
Oh, that's interesting. I never actually Googled it.
I fenced when I was a kid.
You fenced? Sorry, you did what?
Yeah. I did fencing at what was the Birmingham Sports Centre and was the BAI before that.
Yeah,
I did fencing there.
Well, fencing. It's funny because I always had an affinity with fencing. I used to love watching it on TV. I wanted to try it myself, but it's interesting now you mentioned.
If you look at a lot of old boxing memorabilia, you'll often see the fencing swords and mask on the wall in the background.
That's very interesting because I always had an affinity with it. That's strange. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah. So what else is there to say on that topic? I don't know. I think I just go around the table.
We haven't broken down Ruiz versus Wilder.
Sorry? We haven't broken.
No, we haven't really talked about
it. We haven't actually spoken on it, have we? We haven't spoken on it. We have not spoken on it to the 1 hour mark. It's a quick thing. Do we have time to do this? We'll do a provisional thing, but I'm going to do a deeper thing on one of the nights. But we will do a provisional because this is breaking news, folks. We haven't really had time to fully digest it, fully break down the fights in our mind. So what we do now, what we say now, is our provisional thoughts on the subject matter. And as the weeks go by, obviously we'll be revisiting it and looking at it deeper. But provisionally, what I would say is, I think that Andy, I think that this could be another boo-boo. Is Shelly Finkel, aka Paul, is Shelly Finkel? Is he losing his touch? And I tell you why I asked the question. I asked the question because not so long ago, Shelly Finkel thought it was a good idea for Deontay Wilder to fight Tyson Fury. He thought it was a good style matchup. And now he's putting him in, allegedly, apparently, with Andreas the Ponce Ruiz. And I'll tell you why I think that's a bad idea. The problem will be, in my mind, the problem for Deontay Wilder will be that while he's throwing out he's throwing out a sloppy jab as a rangefinder for his right, Andreas the Ponce Ruiz, whom I also affectionately term the snapping turtle, will simply look to slip that and rip, not just rip one shot to the body or one shot to the head. We'll be looking to go body and head in at least a 3-punch combination. So Deontay Wilder is going to be having to defend his body and then his head within a split second. And I don't see Deontay Wilder doing this. I see this as a brutal destruction. A brutal destruction of Deontay Wilder. That's option A. With hard shots ripping to his body and his head. He can't handle that. Within a second, no. That's not good for Deontay. What I see, that's option A. Option B is that Deontay comes with a stiff ramrod jab. Ramrod jab, throws the right and changes direction. He's got to step out of range, change direction. He's got to step back and change direction. And I think that would have to be his recipe. It would have to be, I'm not sure about this double jab because Ruiz will be throwing off the first jab. So I'm not sure about no double jab unless he's going to be stepping backwards and changing angles to his right, have Ruiz move to his left, and boom, over the top right hand. That's option B. So option A is Ruiz wins by timing the jab, timing the lazy jab, and slipping and ripping. That's option A, in which case he knocks out Deontay Wilder, knocks him out. Option B, Wilder uses a very stiff ramrod jab. Every one of them needs to be stiff ramrod. And he needs to hop back, a little skip back, and unleash the right. So he needs to go back into the right a little bit, back into the right, back into the right. The problem for Deontay Wilder is he uses the jab to plant his feet, to land the right. So there's a problem there. There is a problem with the footwork of Deontay Wilder, and that could see him undone, even though the Ponce is a flat-foot platypus. Yeah, option A, option B, I think it's going to be option A. I really see Andreas the Ponce Ruiz knocking out Deontay Wilder very, very badly. And so I pose the question again. Is Shelly Finkel losing his touch with the matchmaking? Let's go over to the Iron Kong.
Well, I think Deontay Wilder's in a bad position because he can't. His name is so big now that he can't exactly take a step back to go fight absolute nobodies again. You know what I mean? They can't. Effectively, what he's gotten now, by all the controversy, all the fame he's gotten, is also a double-edged sword. He can't hide anymore. So Shelly Finkel and them are almost forced to do this because they have to cash out on Deontay. He doesn't have a lot left. It's not that he's losing his touch. They just have to do this. Okay? That's just what it is. So I don't think he's losing his touch. He's just being forced. That's all.
Interesting. John D. Lee.
Well, I would like to see Ruiz versus Wilder because I've got lots of questions that I think would get answered. I'm one of the people that think that Wilder's power has been vastly overrated. Vastly. He's knocked the only top 10 heavyweight he's actually knocked out is Luis Ortiz. And if you break down the resume of Luis Ortiz, that's as bad as Wilder's. Luis Ortiz was a Golden Boy hype job. A large number of Wilder's padded resume was actually architected by Oscar De La Hoya as well. So I think Ortiz is also questionable that he's a top 10 heavyweight. If he isn't, then Wilder's never knocked out a top 10 heavyweight. So the sort of people that he's knocked out, we've seen lots of other people knock out as well. You would be expecting Dillian White to knock these people out. Dillian had a pretty good KO ratio up until he fought Anthony Joshua. Joshua knocked out everybody up until he fought Joseph Parker. If you're fighting these low-level guys, you should be knocking them out. It doesn't mean you've got earth-changing power. When he fought Bermain Stavern, he was a legit top 10 heavyweight at the time, didn't knock him out. The only other person on there that you could class as a top 10 heavyweight is Tyson Fury. There's an argument against that as well.
Yeah.
But although he put him down, he didn't knock him out. So Andrew Ruiz is credited with having an excellent chin, which is why I like the matchup. And because Andy Ruiz has incredibly slow feet and a ridiculously short reach, I think Wilder will manage to get to him at some point in the fight.
Why?
Because I'm not convinced Andy can get there very quickly. Like Wilder's got good foot speed. He hasn't got good foot movement in terms of his skill with his feet is poor, but he's actually fast. And he's got a huge reach advantage over Andy. It's massive. It might even be like a 10-inch reach advantage. It's like it's massive. So, if Andy gets inside him, I think it's lights out for Deontay. Completely lights out.
Yeah.
But the worst nightmare scenario for Deontay is he lands on Andy and Andy eats it and keeps walking forward. Which I don't rule that out as a possibility at all.
Andy eats. Yeah. Andy can eat shots. Andy can eat some shots. It's going to be a hell of a test for his chin because I think he will get hit.
But I'm not convinced about Wilder's power, which is why I want to see the fight, because it would answer that question more effectively than any other opponent that he's fought so far.
That would be one hell of a fight. Would be one hell of a test for that right hand. That would be one hell of a test for the right hand of Wilder. And I think would be that would be. I think I see Ruiz winning that fight. If you say you question Wilder's right hand, Wilder's power.
Well, who's he actually knocked out? I mean, that's the point. The 40-yard knockouts he's had.
Yeah.
I would suggest that if you put them in with Dillian White, Dillian would knock them all out. If you put them in with Povetkin would knock them all out. So would AJ. So would probably Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, totally. I agree with that.
So how can we rate this so-called world-changing power?
How can we rate the world-changing power?
And the best way is Andy Ruiz's world-ranked chin.
Damn. I'm looking forward to that fight. I would love that fight. I think it's a crazy mistake for the Wilder camp because I see him getting knocked out.
Well, if Wilder's power is legit, he may completely clean Andy's clock, but that's why it's such a good fight.
Yeah, well, even if his power is legit, you see, the problem for me is that even if Wilder's power is legit, I just don't see Ruiz landing on him frequently. In other words, I see Ruiz landing on him frequently. I can't see Ruiz at a decent weight like he appears to be now, not being able to close that distance and getting on him. That's what Ruiz.
Well, he wasn't able to close the distance on Joseph Parker, which is how Joseph Parker got the nod. But
Joseph Parker had a far more active jab, far more active.
It's chalk and cheese. Joseph Parker's got better footwork and a better jab than Wilder. But my point is, even at one of his best performances, his foot speed is really slow, and his foot speed is horribly slow.
What I'm saying is that what kept him off Parker was Parker has a higher output.
But he also chose to go on the back foot. He chose to go on the back foot, and Andy couldn't close the distance.
Parker went on the back foot. Yeah, Parker went on the back foot. So
Andy couldn't close the distance, and it was only a 2-inch distance, Rafi.
That was an evasive tactic, and also two evasive tactics. One, Parker was on his back foot. Two, he was throwing a lot of punches.
But Parker's only got.
Those are things that Deontay Wilder won't do.
No, you're right, but Parker's only got a 2-inch reach advantage. Whereas Wilder's got something like a 10-inch reach advantage. It's a hell of a distance for him to close.
Yeah, but when we look at why Parker...
And foot speed advantage...
You said he didn't close the distance against Parker. What I'm saying is the reason he couldn't close the distance against Parker was because Parker had better footwork in terms of weight.
Yes, I agree.
And B, he had a greater punch output. So those things Deontay Wilder is not going to have.
No, but he's got something... I'm going to check what the reach advantage is now.
No, don't do that.
I think it's like 11-inch.
Yeah, okay.
It's ludicrous.
It's ludicrous, but I still see him getting on the inside. Wilder with those slow low punch output, keeping Andy Ruiz off. Hey, I want to see that. That's the intrigue. That's intrigue. That's why we want to see the fight. They've got two different scenarios, 2 or 3 different scenarios that could play out as we've been highlighting right now. John Dealey makes some strong points for Andy Ruiz. Deontay Wilder.
I just think it's a good fight, Rafi.
It's a damn good fight. That's what I'm saying. There's different ways the damn thing can play out, as we've been highlighting. So fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Okay. So, Iron Kong, is there anything you want to add before we move on to the last topic, there's a couple of questions being thrown out in the chat. We'll do a quick round at the end.
Nah, man. Get on to your topics, Rafi. Let's roll.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, I haven't even brought up an article for this. Don't think I'm going to need an article for this. All I'm going to need is a picture. Dang, but best be the right picture though. Oh yeah, I know where it is. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Our third topic, remember we talked about Joseph Parker. 1, 2, Wilder versus Ruiz. And 3, I think we talked about some other things, but 3, how dark will baby's skin be? And I have to ask the question. I have to ask the question to the chat. Has the press given Meghan Markle the bad press due to her not being, how do I word this? I don't want to be too controversial, but you know the Rafi, he's got a sense of humor. Okay, due to her not being lily white. I will lead this one. It appears to me, someone who doesn't keep too close an eye on the news, but I do look at the headlines. As I walk out to Morrison's and I walk past the newspaper stand. I do often take a moment to peruse. Don't mention Serena Williams and the British royal family. I don't know what the link is. Someone could enlighten me. I'd be interested. As I peruse the headlines, I have noticed that the press is being very negative to Meghan Markle. And my question to you, members of the jury, has the British press shown institutional racism in its dealings with Meghan Markle? What say you, the chat? What say you, John D. Lee?
Yes.
I think Jameson, sorry, let me interrupt you. James Jameson says, can we provide a link of bad press before the left the UK and the royal duties? Before the left?
I think he means before they left the UK.
Oh, before they left the UK. And it's been prevalent. I'll do a little research piece.
There is quite a bit of stuff from before.
It's been prevalent. I'll do a little bit of a research project for you. I'll try and get it. You know, the Rafi's a busy man.
Even that term.
With just a quick research, I'll date it. It'll take me about half an hour.
Even that term, left royal duties. So now, Meghan and Harry haven't been receiving taxpayers' money for 2 years.
Right.
So what I'm at a loss to understand why that's a problem. We've got people like Prince Andrew receiving an allowance.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what royal duties he undertakes and how that benefits me as a taxpayer.
Prince Andrew's royal duties were to visit and liaise with what's that guy, the Epstein.
You don't want to get yourself into too much trouble.
Get myself into trouble.
Don't get yourself into trouble.
Yeah.
There's nothing proven with that. But what I would say is, I don't feel my taxpayers' money is being well spent paying Prince Andrew salary for royal duties.
Royal duties.
So why is anybody complaining that their taxpayers' money is no longer going to Harry? Well, I don't understand what the problem is. They're actually self-sufficient.
Yeah, they're not creating a taxpayer.
Yeah. So this negativity about them leaving royal duties, I don't really understand what it's all about. That's the first thing. I mean, Prince Philip. You know what? All of them. I mean, Prince Philip has not covered himself in glory. A lot of people might not remember the sort of things he used to come out with in the 80s.
The Chinese.
But if anybody remembers Spitting Image, that does pretty much sum up what Prince Philip's views are on anybody that isn't blue-blooded. You know, he's just a bigger. I'm just going to put it that way because he's prejudiced against pretty much everybody.
Okay.
The lower orders and people that are of different backgrounds.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a long thing because we covered this last night, but I think we did need to touch on it again. We may need to touch on it again. Is the British press institutionally racist? Is the question.
The other thing that I think has gone under the radar with this whole situation is, the monarchy institution released a so-called investigation last week to get in front of this interview about how there was an ongoing investigation into Meghan Markle bullying staff. But when you read into it, there was no actual official allegations.
Right.
It was an internal process to review how they could do things better. So basically, it was a non-story. It was a bit of a smear campaign to get out in front of this impending interview, because they're probably aware that she hasn't been treated very well.
Yeah, and we have a history of this type of thing from the family, shall we say? We've seen precedents. We've seen people come into the family and not get treated right. But the difference in this case is that the lady in question, she has a darker complexion than the others in the family. But she made a very interesting point. I managed to catch an hour of it. Meghan and Serena. Okay. Wrong. 10 accusations of bullying 2 members of staff quit. Facts. Yeah, I mean, who was bullying who? Who was bullying who? Did they leave because of her complexion? They didn't like complexion?
The point is, when you get into it, they don't intend to take any action.
Right.
And it is for internal processes and how they can be improved. So I'm not so sure they are facts, Mr. Jameson, on this occasion.
Yeah, I'm not sure about
because there's no action being taken on it to anybody, and
so,
it's a long time after. How long has it been since they moved to California? And yet they chose this week to announce their investigation.
Seems like a smear campaign
to me. You know, why didn't they do this?
It looks like a smear campaign. Like a smear campaign. Is it not a smear campaign? It looks like a smear campaign to me.
Why didn't they do it at the time of the alleged bullying? Seeing as she's not been there for well over 12 months.
Looks like a smear campaign. That's why. I'm not saying it is, but that's what it looks like to me. That's what I've been seeing over the last couple of years, walking past, and I'm walking past these newspaper stands, and every time I see this woman's face, they've attached a negative story to it. It looks like a smear campaign. Looks like institutional racism. I don't know if it is, but that's what it looks like to me. Meghan made a good point, She made a good point. She said if the Commonwealth is made up of so many different colors, then how, and the royal family is the head of the Commonwealth, and should they not be comprised of different colors and hues and shades and tones?
No. The simple answer to that is no. The Commonwealth is made up of former subjects of these royals. This is not a situation where it's a bunch of people that agreed to be together, like, oh, we love each other. No, the Commonwealth is made up of former subjects, former enslaved people, former indentured servants of the British Empire. Meghan Markle should not be talking about in any way, shape, or form the history of the British Empire. Since she knows at least that, she should have known the rest. So for her to come in to do the bad theater, the bad pantomime of, oh, I'm a victim. How could they treat me this way? She should ask, how did the Commonwealth come to be? The Commonwealth is effectively, should I say evolution, but it's another form of the British Empire. That's all it is. So when she speaks about shouldn't it be different? No, it should be how it is, because that's how it was made to be. You understand? St. Kitts and Nevis is a member of the British Empire, the Commonwealth, because St. Kitts and Nevis and the people thereof, the people therein, were formerly enslaved by the British Empire, headed by the British royal family. That is how the Commonwealth came to be. This lady is an actress. I'm not interested in all of this. Of course, she's getting bad press in the British media. The British media was also culpable in portraying black people as apes and subhuman. They would make cartoon characters about them about black people and shape the minds of the British public. So when they saw a black person, they saw that cartoon. So that's not new. This has been going on. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, of course it's bad press. Yes, the answer is yes. But this is not new.
So, institutional racism in the press. You know, if the people writing the stories are not diverse, if the editors are not diverse, then I fear to say, if you don't have a diverse staff who can bring in diverse opinions, diverse points of view, then how would it not be? How would it not be? Yeah, so I'm sorry, folks, but I find the British press to have a charge to answer. They have a charge to answer. Are the British press institutionally racist? That is a question that we'll have to ponder. I look forward to that evidence indeed. Easily achieved, my friend. A mere Google search away to find out bad press for Meghan Markle prior to them announcing they were leaving. That will be an easy one, James Jameson. Easy one. I'll set aside half an hour to do it at some point during this week. No problemo. And, over here at Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, we talk about everything. It's a lunchtime thing. Rafi's got a bunch of things to do. Rafi got to get cracking. But yeah, over here at the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, we talk about it. If it's boxing, game on. If it's boxing, we talk about it. If it's non-boxing, where it catches my eye, catches my mind, then we gon' talk about it too. And I've had these videos non-monetized because we talked about the royal family last night. They demonetized that video, so I thought, I'm not even going to monetize this video. You only get a couple of pence for each one anyway. So to stay in the good graces of the YouTubes, I declined from monetizing this. So it's just raw, brought to you from the Raphael Dawkins, alongside the John Daly, alongside the Iron Kong. And that's what you get when you come to the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. Much thanks for all the Super Chat dominators. James Jameson, Scott 70, the Bronze Plumber, Super Chat dominators up in the building. And thank you to everyone like the Cliff Bailey, the Wizard Sleeves, the Cal L, up in the building, the James Jameson, everybody. And so we banged it out for you. I hope you appreciated it. I hope you the royal family practices circumcision. OMG. And we're gonna leave it right there. The Fight Doctor. Dang.
Is that the Fight Doctor, Rafi? Was that the Fight Doctor?
For God's sake, the Queen.
That's him.
The Queen.
Oh dear. Fight.
So
anyway,
I think James Jameson wanted me to sing him a couple of bars of God Save the Queen. So here it goes. Let me clear my throat. God save the Queen. Ding, ding, ding. Regime. That's the Sex Pistols version. I don't know the other one, James. But much appreciation goes out to James Jameson, the Super Chat Dominator, and Scott 70, who were the official sponsors of today's show. Much appreciation. And it was just a quick one, 1 hour 30 on the button, on the nose. I got to do my first session with this new lady on the team. Got a little bit of nervous energy, when you're doing the first session with somebody, and wow, I'm looking forward to it. Got that nervous energy. Looking forward to it. Can't wait to get into it. We're going to do some boxercise routine with her. I'm going to have her on the pads. Well, it's actually more kickboxing. Going to have her on the pads. Going to get her throwing out some little kicks. And then we're gonna be going into the groundwork. We're gonna be getting some press ups out of her. See how she does. Some sit ups. Some hip raises. Some leg raises. And then we're going to be doing some body weight squats. I think we're going to be looking at the lunges, actually. Well, not the lunges. What am I talking about?
Medius and stability work, Raf.
Sorry? Yeah.
Medius and stability work going.
Yeah, definitely some stability work. What am I talking about? Well, that's the move. Damn. It's when you do a squat thrust and jump up in the air and start burpees. Sorry, burpees. Damn, it went straight out of my head. We're gonna get some.
Have you ever done death by burpees, Rafi?
Sorry.
Have you ever done death by burpees?
No. We're not going to take it through that. No way. No. That's horrible thing to do to oneself. Gonna get some burpees going. It's going to be a full thing. I'm nervous. Can't wait to get it on. When I say nervous, I mean excited. Nervous energy, excitement. Can't wait to get that 40. Give her money's worth. I want to give this woman her money's worth. By the time I'm finished with her, I wanted to tell her friends about me. Yes, groundwork. Okay, folks, much appreciation for joining me. The John Deely, the Iron Kong, your final words, sir. Much appreciation for jumping on.
Yeah, Rafi, thank you as usual, man. It's cool to have you on so early. I'm actually at my desk, listening to you and, the great John Deely there. Is that John Deely showing off his shredded abs and all that? Listen, man, yeah. I'm gonna take that as disrespect.
My son's abs are actually better.
Is that your son?
Yeah, that's my son.
Oh, okay. Son has a better tan than you, sir.
Yeah, he certainly does. Although there weren't any awkward questions asked about his complexion while he was in pregnancy.
Hey, man, nice to always chop it up with y'all, man. I appreciate all the conversations there, even though it makes some people in the chat uncomfortable. Make my guy Big Boy Boxing jump off the chat last night, the panel last night. Hey, peace out to everybody in the chat, James, Jameson, Scott, all the people out there, man. Y'all have a nice day. Peace.
100%, and that was the Iron Kong. And John D. Lee, your final words, please. Thank you for jumping on. Get the word out there. Get some content out there. Wake the town and tell the people.
Thanks for having me on.
Hold on, sorry to interrupt you. Let me just address Scott 70. Tell her how racist we are in the UK. JD Raff. Okay, well, Scott, as far as I'm aware, Scott 70, as far as I'm aware, you're not in the UK. You're over there in Thailand. That's 1. 2, I am in the UK. 3, she's in the UK. So, she lives here, my dear fellow. She lives here, so she knows. She knows the sketch. She knows the crack. She knows how it goes. You got many more miles to go. We've traveled some miles, and we've got many, many more miles to go. But, upwards and onwards. Enjoy life. That's what we're here for. We're here to enjoy life, and we're here to make the world a better place for those who come after us. And I think those are all worthy and laudable goals, my dear fellow Scott. Yeah, Scott's over there in Thailand. But, I value all the opinions. John Deely, your final words. Thank you. Thanks for jumping on.
Well, thanks for having me, Raf. The last thing I wanted to say is just because the British press has been horribly racist in the past, doesn't mean to say they should continue being racist. So change needs to happen. And I think it is institutionally racist, and a lot of institutions here are. And people shouldn't take that personally. That's
Oh.
institutional racism.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a white person racist because we live in a country that has institutional racism here. It means the institutions need to be reformed. That's all it means. That's all it means.
100% well put. Very, very well put. And we've gone a little bit over, but that's much appreciation, John Dilly dropped off there. Much appreciation goes out to everybody in the chat. Much appreciation goes out to everybody who jumped on. Everybody who jumped on the panel. Much appreciation to everyone smashing the like button right now as we speak, and anybody who smashed it beforehand, and anybody who's going to smash it afterhand. But over here at the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, we talk about it all. We talk about it all. So thank you for joining me. It's the Raphael Dawkins, the Combat Radio. It's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the comments, it's the shares. And we are out.